All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday. Welcome to another week. Hopefully, you're doing well on this Monday. Man, it's a little chilly outside. I would encourage if you're in northern Michigan, right here, at least in the Grayling area, there's some ice underneath that snow that's on the road there, at least on the back roads. So be careful if you're out and about this morning. I think the main roads look good, but be careful out there. Man, Monday, here we are. It's March the 18th. Good to be on with you. Glad to be here today. And I want to encourage you, if you're just now jumping on, hit that share button so that we can get ready to go and look forward to looking at the Word of God here even this morning. As we get started, we note just a couple of things really quick as we find ourselves in Daniel chapter number 2. Here in Daniel chapter number 2, we find that King Nebuchadnezzar, he's had a dream and is troubled by he doesn't know the interpretation, but he's troubled by what that dream might mean. And so he gathers all of his wise men, all the astrologers, and all those types of guys, and magicians and the Chaldeans, as we've already read, and says, guys, I want to know what the meaning of my dream is. And then, or before you give me that meaning, just to make sure that you know what you're talking about, you need to tell me what that dream is. And they come back and they say, how can we know what's going on in your mind? How can we know what it is that you've dreamed? We can't do it. Well, Nebuchadnezzar, in his fury, says, all right, guards, specifically, I believe it was Arioch, who was the king's captain, I want you to kill all of the wise men, and we'll have to get some new guys in here because they're just not doing the job. Well, one of those wise men was Daniel, and also his three friends there, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And they talk to Arioch. Daniel talks to Arioch, says, hey, give me some time. Let me pray about it. And my God will save us basically from this certain death and destruction. And I'll approach the king. Well, God reveals it to Daniel. Daniel goes into the king, and that's kind of where we find ourselves here, where Daniel is addressing King Nebuchadnezzar here and telling him what his dream is and what the meaning there is thereof. Okay, so let's look at verse number 31. Verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. It was an incredible sight to behold. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron, and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and become like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Okay, and so we get this, what the picture is of this dream. That's an image where the head is. Where the head is made of gold. This is significant and important. The head's made of gold. The breast and arms are made of silver. The belly is made of and thighs of brass. His legs and feet are iron, and part of clay. They're a mix of iron and clay. Okay, so that's important. And then also, what's also important is this stone that man did not create, that man did not cut, came and destroyed the image here, and so much so that the wind came and blew it all away like it had never existed at all. Okay, now that's what the dream was, and then that stone became a mountain that filled the whole earth. Now, verse number 36. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. Wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And so Daniel says, okay, King Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom, the Babylonian kingdom, is represented by that head of gold. And that's your kingdom. All right? He then continues and says, after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And so we see these kingdoms, this second kingdom being we see it being the silver represented here, it says, where am I at here? Yeah, silver being the next one. And that being if you know the story, and we'll get this as we walk through Daniel, the Medo-Persian kingdom, they come and conquer the Babylonian kingdom, and they're going to rule in place of Babylon, and this will happen right after that. And then Daniel continues, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall rule over all the earth. And so this kingdom that's represented by brass, the belly and the thighs, is going to be the Greeks, or the Grecian kingdom. You might remember in history this being Alexander the Great, and he conquering the world here. It says in verse number 40, the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall break in pieces and bruise. And so the next kingdom being the Roman Empire, which ruled with the iron fist and so on, and was very controlling and was very, very strong in its military might, but very, very weak, as you may remember, just in its political realm and so on, and fell really from within because of the weakness politically there. And then it says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of the iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And so we note that even the Roman Empire was a divided kingdom. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron, part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Militarily, they were very strong. The Roman Empire was. Politically, not so much there towards the end. And we see in verse number 43, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. And so we see the destruction of these kingdoms. These kingdoms ultimately just destroyed, and I don't want to minimize it, but by time wearing away of these kingdoms, and they're no longer around. Their effects are no longer really there. The rulers obviously don't rule anymore. So we see this destruction of the image by this stone, that stone being Jesus Christ. And we note that Jesus will one day come back where he'll set up his kingdom upon the face of the earth. We know that of his kingdom there will be no end, and he will rule the entirety of the earth. We know that even the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, which we've mentioned, the Greek Empire, the Alexander the Great, the Roman Empire, each one of those empires, each one of those kingdoms have come to an end. And the next kingdom that will rule the entirety of the earth is Jesus Christ. Now, isn't it interesting that there's a push today in our world for a global rule and reign, a global government, a one world government, a one world system? There's a move to that end, and we note that the the end thereof, the rule and reign of Jesus Christ on the earth. There will be no end to that kingdom, that universal kingdom that Jesus sets up on this earth. And so we find that Daniel gives this interpretation. Okay, think about it. Nebuchadnezzar here's this. Hey, you're gold. You're the head. You're the beginning. And rather than bringing a pride and all of that, oh, I'm gold. I'm the best. I'm the top. No, Nebuchadnezzar knows the dream, knows what's coming, and knows that the statue gets destroyed. And we find here in verse number 46, then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face, worshipped Daniel, commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. So King Nebuchadnezzar is very grateful for the interpretation of this dream. The king answered unto Daniel, said, of a truth it is, that your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. And so Nebuchadnezzar gives really the praise to God here, and recognizing God as being the God of gods and ruler of all things. Then the king made Daniel a great gift and gave him many great things. A great man gave him many great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king. And so we see the reward of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar being true to his word, recognizing the one that would give the interpretation of the dream, giving him great honor, power, prestige, and riches. And so Nebuchadnezzar being true to his word. But you think about this, he makes him in charge. No doubt maybe in the back of Nebuchadnezzar's mind, he's got to realize that his kingdom is going to come to an end. And we'll read about that. I believe it's Daniel chapter number 5, where Belshazzar is visited by the Lord. And we note that the kingdom of Babylon comes to an end in Daniel chapter number 5. But Nebuchadnezzar, very grateful and thankful for the interpretation of the dream. And then let me just kind of give this warning shot, not a warning shot, but just a word of encouragement, if you will. Jesus is coming again. He's coming again, first of all, to rapture the church unto himself. He's also then there's going to be a 7-year period of tribulation where God will judge the earth. And then Jesus is going to come back and defeat the armies of the earth and set up his kingdom on this earth, where he will reign for 1,000 years. For 1,000 years, Satan will be in the bottomless pit. Satan will try to lead a rebellion against the Lord, which will be unsuccessful, and will be ushered into eternity after that point. And so we must be mindful of this fact that Jesus will set up his kingdom on this earth. As believers, we will rule and reign with him. And so that's something for us to look forward to, be encouraged about. We read a lot about, the world coming to an end and climate change, and we got to do this, got to do that. Listen, everything is in the Lord's hands, and the world isn't coming to an end. If Jesus were to come back today, it'd still be 1,007 years before the end of the rule and reign of Jesus on this earth. Or I guess before Satan is cast into the lake of fire, we could say that. Because of his kingdom, there will be no end. And so that's something that we need to be mindful of. And we can't, we've got to be very careful of not necessarily bowing to, but just the fear-mongering that is going on with our leadership in our country about the world ending, all that kind of stuff. That's simply just not true. By Jesus, all things consist. He's in control. And don't take this the wrong way, but the invention of the car did not put into motion the end of the world here, okay? God allowed man, gave man the knowledge and wisdom to be able to develop the automobiles and all of that. Listen, cows passing gas is not going to end the world like we're being told. Jesus, by him all things consist, And so don't live in fear. I'm not saying we need to live haphazardly. No, I don't think that's the case at all. We need to make sure that we take care of and be good stewards of that which God has given to us. But we got to recognize that God is in control. By him all things consist, and Jesus will rule and reign on this earth. And he preserves the earth, and we need to simply trust him and live by faith. And so don't buy into the lies that we're being sold by leadership in our world. Okay, all right, we're going to end with that today. Sorry, we got a little bit political there, I guess, but we'll end with that. We'll pick up with chapter number 3 tomorrow. Good to be on with you this morning. I would encourage you. Hey, let's seek to live for the Lord today. And be a testimony witness as we are able to throughout the day today. All right, let's welcome and greet those that have commented live. Cliff and Karen, good morning to you both. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Ingrid, good morning to you. Love you and have a great day. Charlie and Marcia, good morning to you, and enjoy the wintry day out there today. And then Dennis and Geraldine, good morning to you both as well. Hit that share button if you haven't done so. We'll touch base again tomorrow. If you're watching this, no matter what platform you're watching this on or what time of day you're watching it, I would encourage you to comment and give some feedback. Love to hear from you all. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.